certainly a very important criteria for us is the next one, which is reducing the projected debt to GDP ratio over the budget term. And we actually gave the president a green light on this one last year because on paper it did just that. It's a small, last year it was a small reduction, but any reduction is fine, trying to stabilize it. Now, one can, I would imagine the same thing will probably happen this year, but one can quibble about the realistic assumptions that go into that, the policy assumptions. I mean, the president last year and in other budgets is assuming a much higher level of taxes than, is likely to be enacted, and a much lower, actually, level of discretionary spending than is likely to be enacted. That is a frequent trick of presidential budgets, is assume that the long-term cost of discretionary spending is going to go down. And because it's off in the future somewhere and nobody's really paying attention to that particular assumption, and you can get a lot of savings that way. So, and then the final thing I would say about that, and see if Tori has anything to add on this subject, is we're about at 100% of GDP now. We're very fast approaching a record level of debt to GDP. So, even if you just maintain, that's an accomplishment, but we have to recognize that we are at a very high level by historic standards. And it's going to take really, I think it takes about $6 trillion worth of savings just to keep the budget there at 100%, just keep the debt there over 100% of GDP for the next 10 years. So I don't know how likely that is. And we need to recognize how deep a hole we're in. Tori?
Yeah, I guess I want to put a finer point on that by saying, in my opinion, that's probably one of the most important things that I'm going to look for in this budget, because, and I'm gonna give you a statistic here, but I want to give credit where credit is due. This is from Michelle Fox at CNBC. She recently put out a post saying that basically the United States debt jumps $1 trillion every 100 days. Since last June, our debt grows $1 trillion every 100 days. So that, to me, that just, talk about mind blown.